Again, we sort of talk a little bit about what's the advantages and disadvantages of this particularly. It's a financing strategy, so that's the key here. What's the advantage of it? Well, first of all, it is all of these things are all forms of equity financing. Okay, it's a way, if you want to sort of think about EDP, is they're self-financing the growth. In other words, they're selling off the equity stream. Now, it's more efficient because these equity streams are sort of just solely attached to this particular project, and so if there's a problem with this project, then it flows to those particular investors. It doesn't affect the rest of the company in the same way if they had issued debt to finance it, okay, where that would be a legal obligation for the whole company. This is these financing, the tax equity and the asset rotation strategy is sort of very much project-specific issues for them. So it isolates the risk from EDP's point of view to particularly just this project. Next question was, is good substitute for a desire for no debt? And I would have to say yes. I think it's a good substitute because in a sense what they're doing is these are really equity claims, okay? And they're not debt, okay? Because there's, again, no promised payment. There's no obligation to pay fixed amounts to the tax equity investors nor any minority. It all depends upon what the cash flow is, and they get a specific part of that flow, not a specific amount. So it is a really good substitute for a position of having no debt because these are, again, primarily equity claims and not debt claims. All right, one of the questions was, okay, why not use debt? Again, part of the problem with using debt is one of the big advantages of debt is the tax shield, okay? And if your potential for this situation, especially when they're doing a lot of different projects, especially with a lot of depreciation being very high levels of depreciation, creating negative taxes or a tax shield associated with depreciation, okay, there really isn't a huge advantage. You know, if you can't take advantage of it, okay, because the tax shield associated with depreciation, you really don't want to double up and use a lot of debt and create another tax shield which you may not be able to take advantage of. So again, basically what you're trying to do is sort of use these tax shields, and you don't want to create too many of them, i.e. through additional debt, such that you're not able to take advantage of them, okay? Now they're selling off the depreciation tax shield, but if you added interest to this project, you would actually have more of an issue about being able to take advantage of the tax shields overall. So the key advantage of debt, which is the tax shield, may not be available to them in this sort of framework. One of the issues that also came up into the case was should they do an IPO? And basically the IPO idea is they would take a series of projects, pool them all together, okay, and associated with those projects would be some set of cash flows, and basically sell, okay, this package to raise, okay, to investors. Okay, you know, there's advantages and there's always advantages and disadvantages to doing something like this. But usually in the sense, what they can do is what they're doing now sort of maximizes their return. So the trade-off, and there's some issues related in the case to the viability of really, you know, some of these things having difficulty in the marketplace.